We just had a team come back from Zimbabwe. Had a great time. They'll let you know the details here in a moment. But as we often do, we come back kind of in the theme, in the flavor, whatever, of the Apostle Paul. They went on a missionary journey, and they came back, what was that about? Acts, we'll knock that over. Is that 15 or 14? It's Acts 15, verse 4. When they arrived at Jerusalem, this is coming after their big missionary journey, they were welcomed by the church, the apostles and the elders, and reported all that God had done with them. And we've kind of taken that as a model of if we go out and do a mission trip like this, we want to come back and let you know what God did. God did some good things, some really good things. God is moving in Africa, and he's moving in Zimbabwe. We can't talk about... We don't know about the rest of Africa, but we go back to Zimbabwe every year, and we just got back. So I got a couple little videos. I didn't even tell you guys we were doing this. The first one's just random little clips that weren't on Facebook that can kind of give you a feel for maybe what we did while we were there, just a flavor.
During the daytime.
Anzi Mwari vanoshandisa vanotungamirira vanhu panguva dzemasikati vachishandisa
with a cloud.
gore saka iyo mireza ndiyo yakamirira gore mireza mitsvuku ne
What did God? Yep, white and blue. Cloud.
Gore panguva
Kind of looks like the sky in clouds. What about at nighttime?
asi kana dzasvika nguva dzeusiku Mwari voshandisa
Fire?
moto kutungamirira vanhu saka moto unoshanda nguva nguva at night. Yes,
At night. Very good.
This is our example. This is what they're putting in front of you. You will get one of these. You're going to get a long piece. You're going to get a couple of short pieces. And you will get a cross. Okay? And I will show you how to put them together to make this lantern.
Watch April's dance moves here.
Pathway Church. My name is Melanie Kaminsky. You might not know me, but I have had the privilege of joining the Zimbabwe team and getting to know 7 of your church members. And it has been an absolute joy to be on this trip and be here in Zimbabwe today. We are in Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe with the Downtown Church of Christ, hanging out with some kiddos, playing games, doing vacation Bible school type lessons. And the way we have seen God work on this trip is just immeasurable. So many things that we could point out and say how God has worked through us, whether it's just last minute details coming together or team members not feeling great, but just stepping up to the challenge and doing what needs to be done. We've seen kids baptized. We've seen them accept Christ. We've seen the Hippo Valley Mission members feel encouraged and blessed by what we've done. And it has just been an awesome time being here, getting to know some of your Pathway members and being a part of this team. I was asked by John, your worship leader, to come join this team. John and I actually went to college together. We've known each other for almost 20 years. So I was very happy to answer that call and join this team, and I'm just enjoying it. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of the stories from your team. And just hear all the stories and look at all the pictures and just know that God is here and He is present and He is working with the people in Zimbabwe.
Good morning, everyone. I'm April Babcock, if you don't know who I am, one of the members of this year's team. We had a great time over there. Our very first location was Moshoko, which is kind of a remote location, but it's a very huge primary, high school, and church area. And this first photograph, Dan and John were down in the baptistry back behind that wall a little bit, and they were funneling kids in and out. I don't remember if I heard the final number on how many baptisms you had that day, but these three littles, they snuck by the adults that were keeping people off of an elevated stage area. And these three kiddos just kind of snuck up there. They were very curious. They wanted to see what was going on. And as you can tell with the little girl in the middle, she is so excited. She is witnessing something. She's being a little mischievous. She's gone up there to see what this baptism thing is about. And I just thought that that was just a precious way of the way they celebrate their baptisms there. It's quite amazing. On the next slide, this is in Sharetsi at the Children's Village, the orphanage there. And we did a work project one day to paint some of their outside equipment that they use for recreation. And so this big tire, this was at the end of the day. We were all very tired. And I don't know if it was Dustin that came up with the plan or if it was Dan, but hey, we've got enough paint. Well, let's go ahead and paint this long bunch of tires and this big tire. And we're all like, great, yeah, let's do that. That would just be awesome. And all of us, because throughout the day, we had been mixed up in just little different groups. People were just kind of working all over. But this brought us all together in this one project. And we got it done lickety-split. We had a great time. And we decided to leave our marks there. And so it's all of our handprints. And the kiddos just absolutely love that. And it looks good. So we've got more work to do when we go back. There's paint and way more stuff to take care of. In the next slide, this was just a flyby stop. As some of you have seen these kiddos before, Chambarokira School. The man in the back is Innocent. He is a longtime friend of Dan's, and I have met him and been with him, seen him every trip. We are quite good friends, and the kiddos, it was a quick stop to drop supplies. And so the kiddos saw us, they come running, and of course Innocent is there. And this just speaks to the camaraderie that the children have, and that they do get so excited even just to see us for mere minutes we were there. It was not a long time at all. And then they didn't want us to go. So just wanted to capture that moment because that school is a very precious place to be. On the next stop, we had the privilege of, and the church sponsored some children to go to the grocery store and get supplies that would feed their families for a month, if not longer. And this was just one of the stops where we were unloading more supplies out of the back. And you can see some of the larger bags there. We needed to drive some of the children a little farther. but this is kind of like right outside their grocery store. And it wasn't like a dangerous area, but there were people around that were intoxicated. There was a bar kind of close by there. Some intoxicated people were out and about. So we were just, making sure that the children were okay. And this was just after going to the grocery store and hefting those big bags. You can kind of see them there on the end. And then the last slide for me is I have had the privilege over the last 3 times, this was the 3rd time, being asked to lead an impromptu women's gathering, women's ministry. The women there, of course, is a patriarchal society. The women there, you could say, aren't really considered. So for them to have a time set apart for them, their children are taken care of. Tara and the team did a great job taking the kiddos away and playing with them. While we just kind of got together, Hazel, Adente's wife, pastor and his wife for this church in Victoria Falls, they had asked me if I would speak to the women and just give some encouragement. And they really absolutely loved that. And so it was a great pleasure for me. And I came home with handwritten prayer requests folded up on little papers that I stuck in my pocket. So it just means a lot that while we're there, we're touching all kinds of lives. It's not just the children, but we're being an encouragement to the staff, to the pastors, their wives, to the women, everyone that we meet. So it was a blessing again to join this team.
Hi, I am Dustin. I'm April's new best friend after this trip. I feel a little sick right now, so my voice isn't great, but I also didn't take a lot of pictures on this trip because I was having a lot of trouble keeping my phone charged. So I kind of just chose what I had. But this first picture is me with a guy from the Victoria Falls church. His name is Santos. And I spoke to him for about 20 minutes we did a cookout there, and I talked to him for a large portion of it after we finished eating, and just talking about like his journey in faith and coming to the Victoria Falls church, which he's been going for less than 2 months, I believe. So he's brand new to it. And then on the next slide, I just have a picture of him with his child. There's not much more to say about that particular picture, but this is at the Children's Village as well. This is the slide that we painted, which this was by far the most difficult thing because every time you painted something, you ran out of places to stand. So by the end of it, I was standing on the metal bars and hanging off with one hand trying to paint the tires. So that was kind of crazy, but we didn't ever get a good picture, I don't think, of the final product, but one of John's pictures does show it in the background, so you'll see it. Next, that's just the full set of the blue and green tires that we painted. Yeah, like April said, that was after some of us kind of decided it was time to quit, but we rallied and got that done too. So the big handprint, the big really sloppy handprint in the middle, that was me. Yeah, that was my mistake. And then finally, this is just a picture of all the kids going to game time on the last day of the VBS at Victoria Falls. So this was on Sunday before the cookout. And you can see just how many it really was in this picture. We had a lot of kids at that one. So that's all I have.
Morning, everybody. Again, my name's John. Anybody doesn't know me. This trip was just really, really incredible. It was the first time I'd ever got to go. I've seen over the last 5 or 6 years here, but I've been a part of Pathway. Seeing this team up here, given their download, their report, everything that they got to do, but to be able to experience this firsthand this year was pretty incredible. So my first picture here, like April said, I think that was our first weekend. We did a revival at Mishoko. And we did the revival Saturday night. At the end of that service, there were, I believe, 42 people that came forward to give their life to Christ. And the next morning, Sunday morning, I believe Dan and I baptized, I think it was 35. So roughly 17 high school age kids apiece. So that was just one shot that I got, or somebody got of me baptizing one of the kids. My next one, again, was the part of the VBS the day before, or actually was that Friday? Anyways, we were able to find and buy a guitar when we landed in Harare, and I was able to take that around to everywhere except Victoria Falls, and was able to do music, and that was just really, really something for these kids. I mean, so many of them, they didn't even know what the instrument was, and to be able to see it and be able to see somebody play it, and it was a lot of fun. Moving on, next again is our. That was another piece of that playground equipment that we painted. Yeah, Tara was inside the entire time, and she did everything on the inside for us, and we all kind of rallied together and did the outside. It was a process for sure, but it was great. It was great to be able to serve the orphanage that way. My next picture here is Abel and I. That was again at Mishoko where we did our VBS. So we broke the kids into 4 different groups. We did lessons, crafts, games, and music. And for the first couple of them, the younger kids, Abel and I were like, man, how do we spend this time? And we're trying to, like, the older kids, they were into it. We could have gone back and forth with them. We taught them songs. They did songs for us for an hour or so. But, Abel had a great idea of, hey, why don't you teach us some of your songs? Because I'm just sitting here like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm out of songs. And yeah, Abel to the rescue on that one. It was great. But it was so much fun to, Dan showed that little clip of that same day where they were teaching Abel how to dance, and we just going back and forth, showing our music and them showing us theirs. And then my last picture here, what was the school? I can never remember the name of it. Was that Zebedee's school?
I don't know, even if we could read it.
Okay, anyways, so this school was kind of an add-on, right? Like it wasn't something that we initially had really planned on, but we did a VBS with the Living Proof kids there, and it was phenomenal. So this is actually the one time I was able to do something other than just the music with the kids. I helped Melanie, who again was a friend of mine and Ashley's from Bible college. Ashley lived with her for several years. We were in college. That's kind of how we had that connection. But I was able to help her with the craft and the handing out a snack for these kids, and it was just incredible to me, just handing these kids something as simple as a package of 4 just plain rolls of bread and a small cup of juice. I mean, the joy, the smile, the elation on their face. It's like they just got a present on Christmas morning. It was just incredible. It just really makes me think, how trivial so many things in our day-to-day life is, that we can get upset over some just minor conveniences, but yet there are these kids who are just incredibly elated and joyful to have something as simple as a little bit of bread and juice to drink. So yeah, so this was absolutely, for sure top 10 on my my experiences.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mike. Let's see, this is my 3rd time I'm fortunate to go to Zimbabwe. The first photo that I'm sharing here is just the blessings that you guys provide when you sponsor the kids, right? So you could see in the store there on the bottom picture, they get to pick up all kinds of different foods and supplies that last them a whole month. And then just the strength of that young girl, I had to show that, of them putting all that's heavy. Takes 2 of us to put on the truck, and she just put it on her head. And then walking, not only do they have to walk to their home, then once they get, that the other girl we dropped off, she still has to walk. You can't even see where she lives down the trail. So, but that's a blessing that I get to see firsthand, thanks to you guys. The next photo, this is in Victoria Falls. These three gentlemen run little shops and sell like the zebras and the elephants and the stone figures that we all start collecting and stuff. The gentleman on the bottom, he was there the first time we opened up that church 4 years ago. He became a member. Now he's a deacon, which is pretty cool that he's moved up into the church, and he's been involved for 4 years. And a cool story that was shared with us was now that like his story, that he's joined the church, he's more involved, he's making more money through and then some of our support that we're helping him, that he's actually been able to make progress in building his house more in the last 4 years than how long it's been taking him. So just some of the benefits to the blessings that he's been getting from joining the church, and then from us being able to visit him. The next photo, this was part of the orphanage in the village. That's an elephant right there. You'll see an after picture, but me and Abel had the task of trying to revive him with the supplies that we had on hand. So that's what he looked like before, and you'll see a after picture later. The next photo, this is Kufa's son. I think it's Kuzi is his name. He is joining the mission, the leadership team. He's like an intern for this full year, and I'm actually going to be connecting with him at least twice a month and helping coach him through the journey he's going through. So I'm very excited about that, to be able to help him and help him in his journey. So I feel very blessed to be able to be a part of his journey in life and in his mission. The next photo was just I got to be able to do some devotions with some of the youngsters, 2 or 3 of them. This was one, can't tell you where it was at, but Matera. Yeah, I just got to speak a little message with them and share some stuff about my journey in life and give them some encouraging words. And the next photo, I kind of put too much photos, but I told Dan I'll keep it in time. This, I just want to show everybody how many people were in the room. In Moshoko, we just had a huge turnout. The next photo, this was Matari, whatever, we don't know the name of the town that was just kind of put into our path, but I really seen God working. He was at least working in me. I felt it. Just the games, me and Taro were in charge of games, but the kids came with their lanterns, and then just the stories came together. We were able to put the message together with them. I feel God was really working, is still working there with the teachers and everything there. It's just all throughout Africa, but I really felt it there that something's happening. Is that it for me? Yeah.
My first picture is to appease Mother, because last year was my first year, and she had asked us to hold hands the whole trip. And so we started taking photos like this all over. Like, we try to do one a day where me and my dad are holding hands next to something. That tree is a baobab tree, and it's just really important to like the wildlife out there and stuff. But it was really cool to be able to go with my dad. I don't know. the next slide is one of the VBSs we did, but this was with John and Melanie, and we made lanterns, and then gave them a snack. And just like John had said, I mean, they're so happy just to have that little bit of food. And I mean, we hope that's not all they had, but that's a very real possibility. And just other VBSs in general, where me and John did the music. That was really cool. And we had kids coming up after wanting to take pictures with us, and I more hope that when they look back on that, they don't think that, oh, these people were here from America, and more they remember what we were teaching in the lesson. And I just hope that kind of stuff sticks with them. My next picture is Adente. He is the pastor at the Victoria Falls Church, which we helped plant 4 years ago. I say we, I wasn't on that team, but he and his wife are expecting their first kid soon, and that is just super cool. And he is so enthusiastic about his church and everything he does, and his niece helps out a lot too, and it out there, like, family is very, very important, and like everybody just kind of stays together. I wish I had put a picture of like what their homes and stuff look like, but they're like I don't know, 30-foot circles with a living room, a bedroom, and a bathroom, or however they customize it. But just that, like, that's the way these people are living, and family is so important because that's the only way to take care of each other. And then my next picture is the inside of his church, Adente's church. But I wanted to use this photo and show that, like, the kids outnumber the adults at least 2, maybe 3 to 1. And the VBSs we did at Vic Falls it was 3 days long, and the first 2 days went really well. But that third day was testing our patience, and but that's just to say, like, hopefully God is speaking with them. And then my last photo is the elephant that my dad was talking about. We had to take off the head tire and put it back on there, and those nails or screws were rusty and not fun to mess with. But I hope that the kids just enjoy their refreshed playground, and hopefully us or another team fixes the rest of it.
Good morning. I'm Tara. I feel like I've said that like in the past 3 Sundays. I don't know. Except for the past 2 Sundays I wasn't here, obviously. I joined this team in February when I got a text at school from this guy asking if I want to go. And if you don't want God to work in your life, don't say the prayer, hey, God, what do you want to do in my life? I'm just letting you know. Okay, because otherwise you might end up going to Zimbabwe. Just saying. This first picture is of some kiddos at our first stop at Mashoko. We had to guard my Bible. I don't know if any of you, obviously we're paying attention to Dan during the sermon, and that's why I doodle in my Bible, so I can stay focused. But this sucker is literally my journal, and we had to guard my Bible. That is how hungry these kids are for the Word of God. And I felt kind of bad, but I'm like, it's kind of my journal. So I'm like, I kind of need to go home with it. But yeah, it was just really awesome to see. How many of us just go after the Word of God like that? So that was those, and that was little girl in the dress you might recognize from April's picture. She was one of them that was up there on the stage because she was just so giddy the whole time the baptisms were happening. It was awesome. It was awesome to see. You can just feel God's light just radiating from these kids who don't have anything. And that's all they need, and that's all we need. So it just really puts it in perspective. The next slide is from the orphanage, the village is what it's called. And it is all the moms. And I say moms, they've opened up their lives to be moms and to these kids whose parents didn't want them. And they're sitting there just conversating with each other as they cook over an open fire. I really like indoor plumbing and electricity. We are spoiled. I had to cook my kids food yesterday because I'm a mom, and apparently you have to do that. But I went into my kitchen and I opened my refrigerator and my pantry and turned on my stove, got water out of the sink, boiled it just because I had to because I was making pasta, not to clean it. And here's these ladies like just joyfully cooking over these open fires like they do every day. And I just think that's amazing. I feel like we were there to shine God's light, but they were shining it brighter sometimes for us. And that was good to see. The next picture are a couple of the kiddos at the village, at the orphanage. And this is Junior, AKA Juju, and he's stinking hilarious. All he did was laugh. I think that kid said 5 words the whole time, and we just played. And he just wants to play and laugh and have a good time. And it's awesome. These kids are just there with other kids in similar situations, and they don't know any different, which is kind of great in a way, because they just know the love of God and the love that others are pouring into them. The next one is from Vic Falls. And so that line of kids from Dustin's picture and then from Abel's picture of all those kids at church, I have boys. And luckily, I don't have to drag them here. It's kind of nice, I'm not going to lie. We're very blessed to have this church. These kids, none of their parents were at church. It's a group of boys. I don't know if you guys know boys, but there's no way an American kid would just randomly show up at church. And every day from Friday night, we asked at the first VBS, who's coming back tomorrow? And they kind of yeah, I guess we'll come back. And then Saturday, there were more kids. And then we asked, who's coming back on Sunday? And their hands just shot up, and then the numbers doubled. And these kids just voluntarily come to church. They want to be there. They want to be in the presence of God. And my pictures, they taught me more than I taught them, for sure. I hope I taught them a little bit, but definitely we live a very, very privileged life here, and we just celebrated 250 years of that yesterday, and I am so thankful every day that I get to live in this country. But I was very blessed to be able to go over and see how the other 90% of the world lives. And I just want to thank this church. We're doing it, here, near, and far, and our far lives are being touched, and you can really tell by the kids there.
So this is, we're we're winding things down, and it was just a fun picture. And I thought it kind of represented the team. What a great team! This was a great team. Everybody worked together well. Their hearts were there for the right reason, doing the right stuff. They just wanted to represent God to anybody and everybody they came in contact with, and they liked each other and had fun. It was a great week. April, you must have taken that picture because I don't see you in there. So, yeah. Imagine April in the background. So anyway, it was fun. What I can't remember. What's my next picture here? Okay. Sometimes there's obstacles in life, right? Sometimes there's hardships, and even in the hardships, the team we just went. The first weekend, all of a sudden the starter wouldn't work in the truck we were in. So every time we had to go somewhere, a group of us had to get out and push. And so, yeah, there's pictures from inside and out watching us push. Or maybe you sleep at an airport for 8 hours overnight while you're waiting for the next airplane. I mean, it's not fun. It's not a great, journey of comfort by any means. And the one there with Mike down there, it was Victoria Falls, and there's travel arrangements, and people are out and about, and it was just like him and I. Was there someone? I think it was just two of us, wasn't it? Yeah, for quite a while. And they dropped the kids off, then they're out getting more kids. And Mike's just like, well, hey, let's take this opportunity to do something. And, not entertaining, taught. I mean, it was multiple things going on there. He has a great way of teaching while entertaining. And I just kind of sat there, and they were like doing the telephone game for a while. You whisper around, and I thought, okay, I can't hear you. For some reason, I couldn't hear anything this whole trip until we were landing. All of a sudden, my ears popped. Like, oh, that would have been nice 2 weeks ago. So I just watched, but it engages them, and it's just a lot of fun, and it's just great. Nobody complained about, oh, we're sleeping on a tile floor, or oh, we're left alone with kids, or man, the car doesn't start, or there's cows in the road. I mean, we just kind of went with it, and which is great. That's how you got to take the Zimbabwe trip. What have I got next here? This is. I kind of think of it like you read through the book of Acts, and the Apostle Paul would go into all these communities, and he might go to the river and start teaching. He might go to a synagogue and start teaching. He might have a huge crowd gathered, and whatever he did, he just talking Jesus, teaching Jesus to the people. And that's really our thing here. Sometimes we don't even know what we're going to do until hey, we need a devotion at this school, and so someone jumps up and does it. We're going to play some music. We're going to do some worship. We're going to do some teaching. And it's just taking all these opportunities to teach Jesus. Like I said, we're not there on vacation. We're not there to relax and to rest. We can rest on a plane for 40 hours when we head home. But it was just so great. Small groups, big groups, medium groups, wherever we did, we just talked about Jesus. All right, what's the next one? Okay, this was pretty fun. This is Mashoko and Victoria Falls too, but something happened in the last few years. The first few years, we were just like, okay, we did good things, and it was enough to go back and everything, but begin putting more of the flavor toward evangelism and discipleship, and you need Jesus. And when we did that, we just started seeing results just like crazy. This was the group where from that group 42 people accepted Jesus. And I think if you hit the next picture, it will, what they did on the stage, they just kind of put benches up, and they'd had an invitation, and they'd come forward, and we were singing, well, nothing's happening. I'm just praying, okay, God, move hearts, whatever. It's about their eternity, not about anything else. And all of a sudden, one comes up and two, and then they start flowing in, and then they had add another bench, and then another bench, and then another bench, and then another bench, and they had to start pushing people off the stage so they could put another bench up there. And it was just so humbling to look at this and thinking, this is the future of the church in Africa, right? I mean, that God is moving in the hearts of youth and high schoolers and younger, but and adults as well. We had she looked to be 90. I don't know how old she was. An older woman come too, and that might have been a prayer thing, but because they're speaking Shona, so we don't know exactly what words they're saying. And then each individual person, they stand up and they take a confession of faith, and it's in Shona. We don't know exactly what's going on, but you can start kind of feeling it, like they are acknowledging Jesus Christ as the Son of the living God, and their Lord and their Savior. And out of that 42, what did we say? 35 were baptized the next day. The others will be too. It was just conflicts, whatever. That'll get done. Oftentimes there's a ripple effect from that, and there are more people that come to Christ that we hear about later. It's just so neat. I promised the preacher in Mashoko, I think 2 years ago, I said, hey, we'll do a revival this year. Okay, it'd be great. And we've been talking back and forth for 2 years about it. And then, all of a sudden, he quit talking about it. Oh, no, what's going on? Well, it turns out he's not at Mashoko anymore. And so someone else is there. And honestly, I never got introduced. I don't know who the preacher was, but it was pretty wild at the end of this day, hearing one of the leaders, could have been one of our elders, could have been the new preacher there, just saying, we have never experienced anything like this before. And it's like, that was just like, whoa, this is a historic church in Zimbabwe. This is one of the first ones that the original missionaries 75 years ago started. That's kind of why we thought it'd be kind of cool to go there. They went to plant churches, to help people medically, physically, so they opened up a clinic, which is now a hospital, and then schools. So we did things in all of that. And so they've had quite a history. and for them to say that was pretty cool. It wasn't like, it was just the whole team together. They worked together. The lessons, the crafts, the games, everything was pointing people to Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And I just got to wrap it up in a bow at the end that night and see what God did. That was cool. That'll stick with me a while, and with all of us as we were there witnessing that. And that's because you all sent us. You know, there's senders and goers in missions. You need both. Some people are like, I'll never go to Zimbabwe. That's okay. You don't have to. Help send the team. We're going to change the continent. Jesus is going to change the continent. What have I got next? Kind of the similar stuff. The food. They get a piece of bread and they're just like absolutely thrilled, and it's cool. We want to make sure their stomachs are full so they can then be fed spiritually.